live from the drama-free true crime destination. No doubts, no delays, just the facts, the fire, and the finality that stands tall. This is the final word. Alrighty, and first of all, let me start with my apologizing to you guys for the late start trying to get the camera right. And next, let me say welcome to the final word. I'm Ernest Bethea, the last outlaw, here in the drama-free true crime destination. The final word is our end of the week moment to slow down, look back, and make sense of the stories that carried us here. I'm so glad you all can join us tonight. Tonight, I offer no noise, no sensationalism, just a clear, grounded look at what happened, why it matters, and what we take with us into the weekend. Let's talk about it. We are going to kick things off. If I can catch a breath, we're going to kick things off in Monroe County, Tennessee, where a woman doxed a man by posting his arrest warrant and information online. Now she's the one being charged with identity theft. ain't that ain't that a shame? Ain't that a crazy way to get things going, right? All right. Now that we got that out the way, we're finally ready to get started. Authorities said the post contained several personal identifying details, including the man's date of birth and social security number. Here's what we need to know. A Tennessee woman charged with identity theft after posting a copy of a man's arrest warrant in a local Facebook group. Emma Berger was jailed on March 13th for sharing the post, which originally contained personal identifying information, including a social security number. Berger was released on a $3,000 bond as authorities continue investigating as to how she obtained the document. Now the version of the warrant that was posted was unredacted. You know the difference between redacted and unredacted. That's according to a statement from Monroe County Sheriff Tommy Jones on Facebook. The MCSO was advised about the past depicting a copy of an arrest warrant for Mitchell Cook on Wednesday, March 11th. According to the sheriff, the post, which was shared on a Facebook page titled Uncensored Voices of Monroe County Revamped, contained several personal details, including Cook's full name, date of birth, driver's license number, and social security number. Cook later informed the MCSO detectives that he did not give anyone permission to publish his personal identifying information on any social media platform. Berger, meanwhile, told detectives on March 11th that after another individual pointed out the personal information in the post, she posted it with the information redacted. The next day, Jones continued, she created another post on the same Facebook page acknowledging that the warrant had originally been posted without the identifying information being redacted. Due to the fact that the warrant in Berger's original post contained unredacted personal identifying information, detectives determined that a criminal offense had occurred, according to the sheriff. While many county records are public records and can be viewed by the public, certain information contained within those records is protected by law and is not permitted to be publicly disclosed, including personal identifying information such as social security numbers and driver's license numbers, Sheriff Jones said in a statement. Documents released through proper public channels have this information redacted to protect individuals from identity theft and fraud. The MCSO also shared a statement warning the public to avoid relying on rumors or unverified information circulating on social media, and rather wait for accurate information released directly by the Monroe County Sheriff's Office regarding ongoing investigations. Berger was charged with identity theft and booked into the Monroe County Jail on Friday and released the same day after posting a $3,000 bond. That's according to jail records viewed by People magazine. It is unclear if Berger has legal representation to comment on her behalf. Meanwhile, an investigation into how Berger got access to Cook's arrest warrant is ongoing, the sheriff has said. He also said that MCSO detectives determined that a visible line through the document that Berger shared on Facebook is the same one that is applied to documents that are scanned into the Monroe County court system. It is not found on the original warrant, meaning that the copy Berger shared originated from the Monroe County Clerk of Court's electronic system and was transferred to Ms. Berger by an individual who had authorized to the system, according to the sheriff. Excuse me. Monroe County Clerk of Court, Dewana Martin, told detectives that this system is only accessible to authorized users, which include clerk's office personnel, law enforcement officials, and local attorneys. After investigating with cooperation from Martin, investigators learned that two individuals accessed the warrant in the window from when it was entered into the county system and when it was served, and neither was an MCSO or clerk's office employee, according to Sheriff Jones. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office will be forwarding this information to the appropriate authorities responsible for further investigation, the sheriff said. So let's break this down. A woman tried to expose someone online and ended up exposing herself to a criminal charge. Emily Berger of Monroe County, Tennessee, has been charged with identity theft after she posted a man's unredacted arrest warrant, including his full name, date of birth, driver's license number, and social security number, inside a local Facebook group called Uncensored Voices of Monroe County Revamped. She was arrested on March 13th and booked into the county jail on a $3,000 bond. Sheriff Tommy Jones said, while some county records are public, personal identifying information is protected by law and cannot be shared online. Detectives noticed the version Berger posted had a digital line that only appears on documents scanned into the county's internal court system, suggesting the image came from someone with authorized access, not from a public portal. Investigators are now trying to determine who provided her the document. Berger later posted a redacted version after someone pointed out the sensitive data, and she publicly acknowledged the mistake, but the original post had already violated the law. The charge centers on the fact that she distributed protective personal information, not on the content of the warrant itself. See, this is what we got to be careful of, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a cautionary tale to the entire true crime community. If you're gonna have some kind of huge document like somebody's arrest warrant, you got to be careful of what you're posting. I don't care where on social media you post it. If you're not careful with everything that's being posted, you could be in violation of the law too. And that's what Emily Berger is dealing with right now. We'll see what happens next when she gets her day in court. That's the first of 4 stories I have tonight under the same arc of power, when power is turned inward. And this one, I believe, yeah, this is one of those. The next story I have up, I'm going to have to pull up my trigger warning. Give me just a moment to find my trigger warning. Okay. All right, my trigger warning is going to be right below the screens. So here we go with this. And there we go. As you see it scroll on the bottom of your screen, the following stories you will see in here, and the images that may accompany it or them may be triggering to your mental health. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. All right, now that we got that out of the way, we go to a substitute and her boyfriend are both indicted after they allegedly sexually abused a 5-year-old girl multiple times. We have 30-year-old Madison Page Jones on your left and her boyfriend Zachary Donlinger, age 37. Both of them indicted in Texas on dozens of charges. Yep. This is why I opted to put up the trigger warning, because it's that crazy. Here's what happened. A Texas grand jury has indicted 30-year-old substitute teacher Madison Page Jones and her boyfriend, 37-year-old Zachary Dundlinger, on 39 felony counts after investigators say the pair repeatedly sexually abused a 5-year-old girl. The case began when a woman who identified herself as Jones's friend contacted the police with concerns about Dundlinger's behavior toward a child in Jones's home. Jones allegedly admitted to detectives that she abused the child at Dundlinger's direction and sent him Snapchat videos of the abuse. Both were arrested in December, and after the indictments, their bonds were raised into the multi-million-dollar range. Let's get to the article. Oh, wait. I mentioned about the bonds being in the multi-million-dollar range. They were dramatically increased, with Jones is set at $3.84 million and Dundlinger's at $5 million. Now let's get to the article. A substitute teacher and a boyfriend have been indicted for dozens of child sex crimes involving a 5-year-old girl in Texas. 30-year-old Madison Page Jones was indicted on March 4th on 19 counts, including aggravated sexual assault on a child, sexual contact with a child, and possession with intent to promote child pornography, according to public records from Ellis County. 37-year-old Zachary Dundlinger was indicted on March 4th on 20 nearly identical counts, per the public court records. The indictment means a grand jury found that there was sufficient evidence against both Jones and Dundlinger for the case to proceed to trial. Attorneys for Dundlinger and Jones did not immediately respond to people's request for comment. Authorities arrested Jones on December 19, 2025, according to a media release from the Winkler County Sheriff's Office. Detectives soon identified Dundlinger as a second suspect and arrested him several days later at the oil rig where he was employed on December 23, 2025. Authorities said Jones was reportedly a substitute teacher, and she and Mr. Dundlinger were in a romantic relationship, according to the release. Excuse me. Authorities initially received information that the alleged abuse was occurring from a woman who identified herself as a friend of Jones, according to court documents obtained by News Channel 10. Shout out to them in Texas. The woman told police that she was concerned about Dundlinger's behavior toward a 5-year-old child in Jones's home, per the documents. That's according to the outlet. It is not immediately clear whether the child was a relative of Jones. Police confronted Jones, who allegedly confessed to sexually abusing the 5-year-old at Dundlinger's direction. Jones initially stated that Dundlinger was having sexual fantasies about the child, per the documents obtained by News Channel 10. Affidavits obtained by the outlet state that Jones sent alleged sexual acts to Dundlinger via Snapchat to satisfy sexual needs. The documents also stated that police found text messages between Jones and Dundlinger that confirmed her statements, according to News Channel 10. The Midlothian Police Department did not immediately respond to people's requests for comment. Jones was a former substitute teacher for the Midlothian Independent School District according to News Channel 10 and Fox 4 News. Shout out to them. A spokesperson for Midlothian ISD has confirmed that Jones worked for the district, but said she had only worked 4 days in the past year in a statement to Fox 4 News. The spokesperson further stated that Jones is no longer employed by the district and that the alleged crimes did not appear to have occurred at their schools or involve any of their students. Midlothian ISD did not immediately respond to people's requests for comment. After recent indictments, Jones's bond was increased from $90,000 to $3,840,000. And Dunliger's bond was increased from $200,000 to $5 million, according to News 4 San Antonio. All right. This is where I drop in my PSAs. If it will let me do so. Okay. All right. I'll start with this one first. Okay, it should come up any minute now. So, if you or someone you know has been a victim of sexual abuse, you don't have to be another victim. You don't have to be another statistic. You're asked to contact Strength. I know it says home on the bottom of your screen, but you can use Strength for this text line as well. Strength, STRENGTH, to the crisis text line. That number is 741-741. Again, the crisis text line, text the word Strength to 741-741, and you will be connected to a certified crisis counselor. And now, let's see. I should have one other. Yes, I do. And as far as a child being abused, no child deserves that. None. You are asked to call if you suspect child abuse, you're asked to call the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline. That number is 1-800-4-A-CHILD, 1-800-422-4453, or go to www.childhelp.org. All calls are toll-free and confidential, and the hotline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in more than 170 languages. Again, no child deserves to be abused. Call the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline, 1-800-4-A-CHILD, 1-800-422-4453, or go to www.childhelp.org. Or maybe I hit the wrong thing. It's one of these Fridays. Now, as I'm trying to get all this straightened out, here's all the details that I can give you. Is a reminder that the charges included aggravated sexual assault of a child, indecency with a child, sexual performance of a child, and possession with intent to promote child pornography. Investigators had said that Jones told them Dunliger had sexual fantasies involving the child and instructed her on what to do. The text recovered The detectives recovered text messages between the two that allegedly corroborate her statements. Jones had worked as a substitute teacher for only 4 days in the past year, according to the Midlothian ISD, and is no longer employed. Darlinger was arrested at an oil rig where he worked. The indictments mean the grand jury found sufficient evidence for the case to proceed, and the friend's report was the catalyst. Without her, investigators say the abuse might have continued in secret. And I can believe that. I can totally believe that. It is amazing to me how people will go on doing this kind of thing and thinking that they can get away with it. It's mind-boggling. And a 5-year-old? Really, a 5-year-old? Knowing that the 5-year-old is pretty much defenseless. They're gonna do that, still do it anyway, just to fulfill some sick, twisted fantasy of one of the defendants. And that's right, I'm calling him a defendant. Ugh. Power and authority turned inward. Keep that thought in mind as we continue. Our third story this evening. Our third story this evening involves a 14-year-old. Oh boy. A 14-year-old shot his mother in the back of the head after an argument about a stolen tablet. Yeah, I did not read that wrong. 14-year-old allegedly shot mom in the back of the head after an argument about a stolen tablet. 41-year-old Teresa McIntosh died as a result of that shooting. Here's a breakdown. A 14-year-old boy allegedly shot his mom in the back of the head after they reportedly got into a fight about an electronic tablet. 41-year-old Teresa McIntosh, as I just mentioned, died as a result of the shooting. If convicted, the teen, who will likely be tried as an adult, faces life in prison. That's right. This young man could end up going to big boy prison, not juvenile detention. This is in Wyoming. 14-year-old Havoc Leone has been charged as an adult. See? Called it. 14-year-old Havoc Leone has been charged as an adult with first-degree murder after allegedly shooting his mother, 41-year-old Teresa McIntosh, in the back of the head during an argument about a stolen tablet. Deputies found McIntosh still alive but unresponsive. She died the next day at a Colorado hospital. Leone initially told investigators his mother shot herself, which wouldn't have made any sense, but I'll go on. Then changed the story multiple times before ultimately admitting he pulled the trigger. Here's the details. The argument began when McIntosh confronted her son about a tablet he had stolen. Investigators say Leone had stolen her 9mm handgun a week earlier, hiding it in a boot in his bedroom. On the day of the shooting, he retrieved both the gun and a notebook containing the tablet's password. When his mother bent down to pick up the notebook, he allegedly fired a single shot in the back of her head. Leone told the detectives he had thought about killing his mother before, especially when she made him do things he didn't want to do. After the shooting, he attempted to stage the scene and mislead investigators before eventually confessing. He is being held without bond and faces adult penalties due to the severity of the charge. Ugh. Now that's my breakdown. Here's the actual article, courtesy of People magazine. A 14-year-old boy has been charged in connection with the shooting death of his mother after the pair reportedly got into an argument over an electronic tablet. Police responded to a report of a 41-year-old female with a gunshot wound to the head in Cheyenne, Wyoming, at around 12:50 p.m. local time on Saturday, March 7th. That's according to the Laramie County Sheriff's Office in a news release. Upon arrival, deputies discovered the woman unconscious but breathing, with a visible gunshot wound to the back of her head, police said. The victim was transported to a local hospital and then airlifted to a medical center in Colorado, where she ultimately died of her injuries, according to the release. Authorities added that a juvenile was taken into custody at the scene. The woman was later identified as Teresa McIntosh, and the alleged shooter was identified as her teenage son, the Wyatt Tribune and Cowboy State Daily reported, citing a police affidavit submitted to the Laramie County Circuit Court. In the police affidavit, the teen initially stated that his mother shot herself, but like I said, that wouldn't make sense if she was shot in the back of the head. But he later admitted to shooting her himself after an argument over a tablet that he allegedly stole from one of her cleaning business clients, the outlet said. The 14-year-old said he was angry at his mother for calling him names and insulting him during the argument. And he stated, per the court documents obtained by the outlets, that he had thought about killing her in the past, specifically when she would make him do the things he didn't want to do. The teen said that he shot McIntosh while she was in his bedroom using a gun that his mother usually kept in her car. He retrieved the weapon from his closet after he took it from his mom's vehicle about a week earlier, following a big fight over his math grades, according to the affidavit per Cowboy State Daily. McIntosh's common-law husband, who was also the teenager's biological father, was home at the time of the shooting. He told police he did not realize anything happened because he was downstairs playing video games while wearing noise-canceling headphones, according to the affidavit obtained by the outlets. While gaming, the father said, per the police affidavit, that he heard a pop, which he thought sounded like the popping of a balloon. That's according to a report from both the Wyoming Tribune Eagle and Cowboy State Daily. When he later went upstairs, the man found the 14-year-old standing outside the bedroom and then saw McIntosh on the ground. He said his son initially told him he didn't know what happened. Come on, really? You didn't know what happened? The man called 911 and then attempted to tend to McIntosh's wounds until help arrived. I don't want to think what I think happened, the man told police. The outlets reported and cited the affidavit. I don't even want to put it into words. I don't want to think that because it's a really effed up thing for a parent to think, he added. The father said his son was seeing a counselor and was on medication for mental health issues at the time of the incident, according to the Wyoming Tribune Eagle. The 14-year-old has since been charged with first-degree murder and will be tried as an adult, according to the Wyoming Tribune Eagle, Cowboy State Daily, and Oil City News. If convicted, the teen faces life in prison, It is not clear if he currently has legal representation to comment on his behalf. I'm not going to try to pull up the my graphics for it, but I do have another PSA that goes with this article. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health challenges, emotional distress, substance use problems, or just need to talk, you can call or text 988 or chat at 988lifeline.org 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Help is just a phone call or text away. In the meantime, this is one of those cases where as much as he wants to say he didn't know what he was doing, or he wants to use his mental health as an excuse, I'm sorry, I don't see it, especially when he said he thought about it, especially when his mom told him to do things he didn't want to do. I mean, what could she have wanted him to do? Something simple like wash a dish, clean up his room, etc. Except normal stuff parents want their teenagers to do. I'm glad with this they are not trying to give him a slap on the wrist. This is big boy stuff. This is big boy stuff. So now he really has to literally put on his big boy pants and prepare himself to go to trial. All right. I've got one last story to take us into the weekend. And as I set this one up, I want to thank Jay Scott of Guilty of Crime on YouTube for bringing this to my attention. I mean, I know I may have touched on it before, and it's been a couple of weeks since I heard anything, but now that I've got this, Jay Scott, thank you so much. I hope you and I can collaborate on another story like this together. I'll be sure to email you with my information. I'll get yours, and we can let's see how we work together on this. All right. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned about American Idol contestant accused of murdering his pregnant wife. Today, I bring you that same American Idol contestant now indicted for his wife's murder. And I've got a lot to go on. All right, that's courtesy of our good friends at Court TV. And here's the breakdown. A former American Idol contestant who once sang about faith and family is now accused of murdering the family he claimed to cherish. 39-year-old Caleb Flynn, a season 12 American Idol alum and former music pastor, has been indicted for the murder of his pregnant wife, Ashley Flynn, in their Tip City, Ohio home. Flynn initially told police that a burglar broke in and shot Ashley while their two daughters slept in another room, but investigators say that the scene was staged. The story didn't match the evidence, and the inconsistencies pointed back to Flynn himself. He now faces charges. I'll break those down. The charges, I'll break those down in just a little bit. All right. Here's the details tell us that police body cam footage captured Flynn wailing, vomiting, and collapsing as officers arrived, and behavior investigators later described as inconsistent with the physical evidence. Officers immediately noticed problems with his burglary claim. There were no signs of forced entry. A back door left open in a way that didn't match the story, and a handgun Flynn claimed was in his truck's glove box was found in the center console, raising questions about access. Detectives whispered to each other to stay with Flynn at all times, signaling early suspicion. Ashley was several weeks pregnant, adding an additional layer of legal and emotional weight to the case. Flynn has pleaded not guilty, and his defense is expected to challenge the state's interpretation of the scene and his emotional behavior. Excuse me, guys. I've been this change in season, change in weather all day. But here I am. Here's the entire article from Court TV. A former contestant on the reality series American Idol has been formally indicted on charges that he murdered his wife and unborn child. Caleb Flynn was indicted on multiple counts of murder, as well as tampering with evidence and other charges by a Miami County, Ohio grand jury. The charges mirror those he initially faced when he was arrested in February. At Flynn's arraignment on Thursday, Judge Stacey Walls set his bond at $3.5 million, an increase from the $2 million he had previously faced. If he posts bond, he will be under a strict house arrest and not allowed any contact with the victim's minor children. Caleb Flynn's wife, Ashley Flynn, was found dead in the couple's home on February 16th after a 911 call claimed that there was a burglary in progress and a resident in the home had been shot. After an extensive investigation, investigators said they believe Caleb Flynn staged the burglary and killed the victim himself. Ashley Flynn was pregnant at the time of her death, and Caleb Flynn faces charges for the murder of the unborn child as well. Caleb Flynn participated in season 12 of American Idol, though he didn't make it past the first rounds in Hollywood, California. In an interview the show posted online, Caleb Flynn described himself as a music pastor. When asked what was most important to him, he replied, "I love the Lord. I love my wife more than anything. She is very, very pretty. I love her." He also compared her to past American Idol winner Carrie Underwood, saying, "I promise you, if my wife dyed her hair blonde, she'd look just like her." Records reviewed by Court TV indicate that Caleb Flynn is represented by attorney Patrick Mulligan, who has already filed motions requesting a bill of particulars and a non-dissemination order. Caleb Flynn is due back in court for a pretrial conference on March 30th. Now, the charges have been updated for Caleb Flynn, and I promised I would bring them to you. And me being a man of my word, here's those charges. Prosecutors have charged Flynn with multiple felonies, including 3 counts of aggravated murder. They reflect the killing of Ashley Flynn, the killing of her unborn child, and an additional aggravated murder count tied to the circumstances, such as committing murder during another felony or with prior calculation. 2 counts of felonious assault. Those often cover causing serious physical harm and using a deadly weapon. 2 counts of tampering with evidence. Prosecutors allege Flynn staged the scene and manipulated physical evidence to support the false burglary narrative. And 1 count of murder, non-aggravated. This is often included as an alternative charge for the jury, depending on how they interpret intent and premeditation. I had I don't know if I can say the pleasure. I had the time today to listen to that 911 call. And I can tell you guys, This guy, in my opinion, deserved an Emmy, an Oscar, a Golden Globe, and a Tony for the acting job he did. All you can hear him do is literally boo hoo hoo and blubber all over the phone. And there's a lot of things there's a lot of things that really gave himself away. For one example being, you asked him a straightforward question, he did not give a straight answer. Giveaway, red flag. And on top of it, he's talking to dispatch, and he's going every which way but in the same direction dispatch is going. So nope. Not only did I not believe a word he was saying, I don't think anyone else at guilty of crime believed it either, especially when we were all listening to that 911 tape, that 911 call. And then on top of it, Ashley Flynn's mother, I got to see this as well, and it still irks me. Ashley Flynn's mother was consoling the man that murdered her daughter. I mean, sure, she may not have known it at the moment, but that's exactly what she was doing. And it still bugs me that how in the world could she not catch this? It's a good thing police had said to keep an eye on this guy, because it's possible that he was still putting on an acting job even before he was arrested. He'll probably still put on that same acting job as he goes to face charges in court. So there's your four articles, 4 stories under the theme of when power is turned inward. Tonight's stories weren't connected by geography, age, or circumstance. They were connected by something deeper. They were about power turned inward, misused in moments where people believed they were untouchable. You had a woman who thought she could weaponize someone else's information online. Had a couple who believed that secrecy would shield them from accountability. A teenager who turned a stolen gun into a permanent decision he could never take back. An American Idol hopeful who allegedly killed the woman he claimed he loved. Different lives, different choices, but the same collapse. Because when power turns inward, it stops being something you can use responsibly and becomes something you use to control, to manipulate, to lash out. And it doesn't stay contained. It breaks things. It breaks trust. It breaks families. And it breaks futures. And every one of these cases show the same truth. The moment you believe you can act without consequence is the moment consequence begins. That's the thread running through this Friday night. Not just crime, not just tragedy, but the quiet, steady reminder that power, whether it's digital, emotional, or physical, it always comes with cost when it's misused. And tonight, We saw what happens when that power turns inward instead of outward, when it becomes a weapon instead of a responsibility. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's the final word. A clear look back at the stories that carried us through the week and the lessons we take with us. I thank you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening for Saturday night's main event. And until then, now again, you guys are amazing. You're the ones that keep Bethea'S Byte Reloaded running, and I appreciate you all. I'm Ernest Bethea, the Last Outlaw. This is Bethea'S Byte, and it's reloaded. You have a good night. Thank you so much for joining me here at the drama-free true crime destination. Please be sure to follow Bethea'S Byte Reloaded all over social media and support the channel through PayPal and Cash App. You can get your true